Hey everybody, figured I'd do a little video update this week. A couple weeks away from potting up all the first years. It's been 65 degrees and sunny today and I'm having a really hard time not starting to pot them up. But I know I need to be patient. Anyway, here's an overwintered Fatali. Since I potted this guy up, it started to explode with growth over the last week. This plant's about 2.5 feet tall, 3 feet maybe. Starting to bud up. The lower branches are starting to come back in. Right here I have a Jamaican chocolate habanero. You can see all the noids that have been pretty dormant all winter are starting to come back, pumping out new growth. This Serrano del Sol was a stick last week when I potted it up pretty much, and starting to pump out some new growth as well. In fact, you can see a Serrano hanging out right there. So here I got my late start butch teas that didn't have enough time to produce last year, but I overwintered them and hopes they'd survive, and they did. So hopefully I'll get some pods out of these little guys this year. These butch teas were from Jim Duffy, and I have butch teas from 4 other sources growing right now for in the first year greenhouse anyway. So it should be interesting to see if I can tell a heat difference or pod size difference or whatever. This guy right here is a Naga Morik, and did this last year and it's doing it again this year. It is getting this leaf spot. I don't know what the deal is with that. Did the same thing last year and I had to cover it with that Bonite Orchard spray, and I'll be doing that this evening so it doesn't burn the plant. Here's a Antalius Caribbean Red Habanero. Hasn't had much growth at all over the winter, but now that it's in a bigger container and getting some real sunshine, starting to pump out some buds and new growth, especially at the base. There was nothing going on a couple weeks ago, and you can see all the new shoots starting to come out. Here's another Naga that's doing the same thing with that leaf spot as the other. It's the only 2 plants doing it. I don't know what the deal is with those. Anyway, here's another Fatali, about the same size as the other. Lots and lots of new growth coming out of this guy. You can see the trunk where I burnt it with a dish soap and water over the winter. Guy still came back. Some flowers in there. And actually, this plant here barely had enough time to produce last year as well. It was labeled a chocolate ghost pepper, and it turned out putting out 1 pod all season, and it was red. And it did not look like a ghost pepper either, so I'm kind of leaning towards a cross of some sort. And it grows more like a habanero plant than a super hot plant does, but it pumps out buds. I don't know how good the quality is, but there is 6 buds on that one noid. Anyway, over to the big guy. It's the yellow ghost pepper. It's the one plant that I kept in a 5-gallon container over the winter. You can definitely tell a size difference. This guy's probably my favorite plant as of so far. It's got flowers all over it. pretty interesting too. Never had a plant that's 2 years old, but they get to that age, they almost grow like vines, if you will. I mean, it's growing out and across more than it is up. Pretty interesting. There's another branch here. See the flowers. Buds all over this guy. Hoping to get quite the harvest out of this plant. Alright, moving on to the first years. This flat here and that half a flat. And that flat there are the last two flats to come outside. Didn't have room, obviously, to put them in there last week. But I'm just kind of positioning them behind the greenhouses so they don't get full sun, but it's definite partial sun, and wanted to bring them out because they were getting quite leggy being inside and not being in the grow room with the fan going. As you can see, this chocolate ghost crossed with a yellow 7 starting to bulk up, but 3 days ago this thing was leggy, and you can kind of see how flimsy it is. Shows you what a fan will do for them. And to give it a comparison, this guy here is a 7-pod Primo. This did spend a lot of time in the fan, and you can barely move that thing, as opposed to just a bunch of assorted super hots going in all the flats, no particular order. I did have one problem with slugs. That there used to be the top of a peach ghost pepper, and little bastard came in here and chewed that sucker right in half. I mean, it's got some new growth coming out of the leaves, but that was enough to piss me off, so went out, bought a box of Corey's Slug and Snail pellets, took all the flats out, and I literally put rows and rows of these slug pellets up and down the greenhouse. You can't really see with the camera, but there's slime all over the place, and I have yet to have another problem with slugs in here. So yeah, I got my revenge. So they're about 75% of the way done with the hardening off process. Here's the shade cloth that I'm using. Just drape that over the top. Take it off in 30-minute plus increments each day. Unless it's really sunny, then I'll back it off a bit. Plants are all doing fine, all doing healthy. I don't see any deficiencies. Haven't seen any pests. And the fungus gnat population is way down now that they're out here. I try to open the greenhouse doors as often as I can, so any predator pest that would like to have a fungus gnat for breakfast can come on in and help himself. Pretty much every plant has branched out and has started putting out buds, and if it hasn't branched out yet, it's certainly about to. The smaller guys have come close to catching up in size and height and all that good stuff, so pretty much everything's at about the same stage, other than the there's probably 8-10 flats in the back here that are way ahead of the rest. Maybe not way ahead, but a couple weeks in growth ahead of the rest. So here are the big guys over here. They've branched out plus some. There's that Trinidad Scorpion, or my bad, Trinidad Viper crossed with a purple boot Chalokia. That guy over there is a Moruga blend. Infinity here. Infinity Fab Freak. Yeah. Trinidad Scorpion Moruga Satan strain here. Basically, they're just all kind of mixed in. Oh, here's something. In case you guys are wondering what sunburn looks like. That is a sunburnt boot Chalokia right there. New growth is coming in fine though, so not too worried about it. Kind of funny, out of this entire greenhouse, only 3 plants have been sunburnt at all, and they're in no particular order at all. Like we have this guy here that's kind of in the middle of everything. There's a short plant behind this that also got a bit of sunburn, and then one way in the middle there. There's another Trinidad Viper crossed with a purple boot Chalokia plant there. It's when you know you spend way too much time with your plants, when you can tell what they are without reading the label in a group of 250 of them. Anyway, the greenhouse stays a good 20 degrees warmer than the outside temps. Other than that, that's about all I got for you guys this week. Thanks for watching. Hope it was somewhat enjoyable. Hope everybody's well. Later.